Car Trouble by Zoe Blessing. Chapter 1. I am Luann Donatelli, and I am a strong, confident woman. I shake my head, leaning back in the driver's seat of my car/death trap. Only an impending call to Astrid with bad news could reduce me to self-affirmations. Ugh, maybe I can still make it. Although the smoke rising from the hood of my car tells me I might be delusional. I consider calling a cab so I can still get to the meeting on time, but the last time this happened, which was, embarrassingly, just last month, I'd gotten a ticket for abandoning the car by the side of the freeway. For the record, I did not abandon the thing, I just temporarily parked it there for a few months, because I had no other choice. But try telling that to the highway patrol. I'd come back to find a shiny red ticket attached to my bent antenna like a holiday decoration. Merry fucking Christmas to me. I can't afford another ticket. My last business venture cleaned me out. Astrid will just have to handle the meeting on her own. Summoning a deep breath of courage, I call her. "Tell me you're on your way," she says as a greeting. "Well, Lou, no, this account is huge." "I know, but..." "No buts. You're the sweet talker, I'm the bulldozer. You told me yourself." "Yes, I remember my own words, but I'm stranded on the freeway." She gives me an exasperated sigh. "Again? Didn't you just get that piece of shit repaired last month?" "I thought I did." "Look, I'll come pick you up for the meeting. Where are you?" I shake my head, forgetting that she can't see me. "Lou?" she prompts. "I need to arrange a tow truck," I lament. "I can't risk another fine for leaving my car here." "Don't they give you a few days?" "How should I know?" Frustration makes my voice high and whiny. I can't." I exhale with defeat and thunk my head onto the steering wheel. When did my life get so fucked up? Astrid is silent for a while, and I imagine her rubbing the back of her spiky blonde head. "You went down the sinking ship with me, Lou. You could have bailed, but you didn't. That's a true business partner. And a true friend." I pull the phone away from my ear and stare at it, wanting visual confirmation that I was still talking to the same Astrid who has always been too proud to admit defeat. "Look," she continues, "I'll handle the meeting. You do what you need to do. Don't go back to that idiot mechanic. You need to see Mel the Mouse." "Mel the Mouse? What is that, some kind of mafia informant?" She chuckles. "Only the best mechanic you'll ever meet. I should have given you that number last time." "Why didn't you?" "Who knows? We had a lot going on last month." My mouth twists at the memory. "Yeah, we sure did." Chapter 2. When the tow truck rumbles away, I'm standing by the dented bumper of my car, staring at the beat-up aluminum siding that holds up a roof that's seen better days. Half-rusted carcasses of old cars with no tires lie in heaps beside the building. A faded sign reads, "Armstrong Auto." This is where Astrid recommended I go? It looks more like a junkyard than an auto shop. Or maybe a crime scene waiting to happen. With no small amount of trepidation, I enter what I assume is the front office. A large black woman wearing the most colorful muumuu I've ever seen rummages around in a file cabinet behind the desk, her back to me. Her gray hair is streaked with black strands, held back by a red hairband. She hums softly to herself over the open drawer, completely oblivious to my presence. I clear my throat. She startles and turns around, peering at me over bifocals. "Why you sneaking up on an old woman?" I'm not sure what to say to that, probably because the patterns of her dress have hypnotized me. Her expression softens. "You look a little lost." I tear my eyes away from the bright blue parrots flying across her bright yellow and orange muumuu. "I'm supposed to talk to Mel, I stop myself from saying mouse. "Mel. I'm supposed to talk to Mel. Is he here?" She plants her hands on the tiny desk and leans forward to give me a hard look. The desk creaks under her weight. "What business you got with Mel? What Papa Armstrong does is his business. Ain't got nothing to do with Lil Armstrong. If you're here to collect, Mr. Armstrong ain't here." I chew on my lip, unsure about this whole thing. Is this Mel person the son of a drug dealer or what? Remembering that I'm supposed to be a strong, confident woman, I lift my chin. My friend says Mel is the best mechanic. I need one of those. I gesture to my ungracefully aging blue sedan in the driveway. Badly. A smile splits her face, rearranging all the stern lines on it into happy ones. Well, why didn't you say so, Mel? Her bellowing voice booms across the entire shop, and I'm surprised the thin walls are still standing. She waits a beat, then turns to me. Probably got them headphones on. I'm Rita, by the way. Wait right here. She shuffles away with a slight limp. With nothing else to do, I turn my attention to the various frames on the wall. Most of them are certifications, but my eyes are drawn to the faded photo of a family. A pretty blonde laughs, while a handsome man pulls a wrench out of a small child's mouth. Wrapping paper and toys litter the brown carpet, and they look utterly happy. I miss my dad. He would have been the one laughing in the photo. Those were good times. Rita's voice pulls me back to the present, and I turn around. At first, I think a kid is standing next to her, but I quickly realize the sharp features belong to an adult. A short one. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Rita looks expectantly at me. It's Luann, I return quickly. Luann, this is our master mechanic and resident genius, Melanie. It's then that I finally realize this short adult is actually a petite young woman. She wears grease-stained coveralls. Short, dark hair spikes out from beneath a backwards baseball cap. A blush tints her pale cheeks, and she fidgets with a set of white earbuds in her hands. It's Mel, she mumbles, without looking up. Rita smiles patiently. Sorry, dear. Mel. She holds a hand next to her mouth as if to whisper a secret. I remember when she was in diapers. She'll always be Lil Melanie to me. The blush on Mel's face deepens, and I feel a wave of sympathy for the girl. Could be worse, I say. My dad used to show my naked baby pictures to my girlfriends. Don't know why I kept introducing him to my dates. A small smile graces the girl's lips, and she ventures a peek at me. Beautiful hazel eyes touch upon me before darting away again. Mel, go take a look at this young lady's car while I get the paperwork started. Rita heads to a stack of forms in a nearby tray. I reach into my purse for the keys, then pause. But I haven't told you what's wrong with it yet. Trust me, Rita says. She'll tell us what's wrong with it. I hand her the key and she gives it to Mel, who darts out the door. Several minutes after I fill out the customer intake form, Mel returns to the office, wiping her hands with a rag. She has small hands with slender fingers, and I briefly imagine twining my own fingers with them. Well, that thought came out of nowhere. Blown head gasket, she says softly. Rita winces. Oh, that's not good. I have no idea what a head gasket is. Is that repairable? It is, Rita says, but it ain't gonna be cheap. I get a sinking feeling and mentally brace myself. How much? Rita clucks her tongue. You're looking at $2,000, minimum. Maybe more. The shock feels like a staggering blow, and I stumble into the chair behind me, sitting down hard. It might as well be $2 million. I'm sorry, Mel murmurs. I look up at her and see the apology in those beautiful hazel eyes. I was better off leaving it on the freeway, I mumble to myself, rubbing my face with both hands. Rita pats my shoulder. I know, it's a lot, but you gotta take the whole engine apart to get to the head gasket. Why couldn't it be a flat tire instead? I could deal with a flat tire. I'll give you some time to figure out what you want to do, all right? Rita starts backing away. My morning coffee is running through me awful fast. I'll be back in a little while. With that, she shuffles around a corner to where I assume the restroom is. I slump forward, propping my head in my hands, elbows on my knees. It would have been worse. The hesitant voice of Mel reminds me that she's still here. I pull my head out of my hands to look at her. What do you mean? Leaving it on the freeway. She concentrates on rubbing the earbuds between her fingers while she speaks. It would eventually get towed, and then you'd start accruing impound fees. If that doesn't get paid, then you'd owe money and have no car. I tilt my head, kind of impressed she's managed to say this much. From what I've seen so far, Astrid's nickname for her makes sense. That's true. She falls silent and I lean back in the chair, sighing. Maybe I can sell a kidney. A small giggle escapes her lips and I glance at her. She's covering her mouth with one hand but her eyes twinkle. She really is quite a pretty grease monkey. What would you do, Mal? Her smile disappears and her eyes grow wide, like she hates being put on the spot. She appears to give it some thought. She clears her throat. I'd fix it myself, because, I'm a mechanic. I can't help but laugh. The absurdity of my question and all the stress hit me at once, and I laugh. She smiles a little and adjusts the baseball cap on her head. I like it when she smiles. I like it when anyone smiles, but I like her smile more than most. I sigh again as my situation comes back to the forefront of my thoughts. I don't suppose I could wash dishes or something until my debt is paid off? Do restaurants even do that anymore? I shrug at the thought. What would be the equivalent in an auto shop? Polishing tools? My tone is flippant, but her brow furrows in deep thought. I was kidding, I say. Mostly. She sits in a nearby chair, a serious expression on her face. What do you do? I shrug again. What does anyone do when faced with a repair bill they can't afford? No, for a living. What do you do as a job? I nearly scoff aloud. Good question. After closing the bar, Astrid and I struggled with odd jobs to keep the bills at bay. Her latest business idea could work. Then again, that's what I thought about the bar. Some bookkeeping, I answered truthfully, thinking about all the red ink I'd had to deal with. Accounts payable, inventory, that sort of thing. Call me Miss Paperwork. This earns me another smile from her. Luann Paperwork. I like it. I grin back at her and we share this moment of, I'm not sure what it is. A spark? A flutter? Or maybe it's just two women smiling like normal people. Whatever it is, her self-consciousness seems to click back into place a moment later and she looks away. Here's an idea, she begins, worrying the earbuds in her hands again. Maybe we could trade services. My ears perk and I'm not sure I've heard correctly. Trade? Yeah. She rolls the white earbuds in her fingers while she thinks some more. You handle the books while I work on your car. This sounds too good to be true. What about Rita? Isn't that her job? She's going on a week-long cruise. I can't believe my luck. For real? She nods, as if solidifying the idea in her mind. Yes. It's a deal. I hold my hand out, afraid this opportunity might slip away if I don't make it official somehow. Mel hesitates and looks at her hand, which still has greasy smudges on it. After what looks to be a quick mental debate, she wipes her hand on her coveralls and grasps mine. Her grip is firm but light, reminding me of a bird alighting onto a tree branch. The warmth in her hand seeps into mine, and I find myself not wanting to let go. Her eyes meet mine, and I marvel at the green-brown hues I find there. She gives me a cautious smile, like she feels the giddy warmth too but is afraid to admit it, and then gently tugs her hand away. Chapter 3. The following week, I show up to Armstrong Auto for my first day of work. Rita spent an hour the previous day showing me everything, at breakneck speed, before rushing off to the airport. I'm eager to work off my debt, but I'm even more eager to impress Mel and her incredible eyes. Does showing up 20 minutes early make my eagerness too apparent? I could blame the bus schedule, right? I stand by the front door of the office pondering this because the door is locked, because they don't open until 8. I shake my head at my schoolgirlish behavior. I could have stopped somewhere to pick up coffee instead of heading straight here. There's no one here yet to impress, and who gets impressed by early birds anyway? Certainly not my mother, who probably won't even show up to her own funeral on time. I want to slap myself for imagining my mom's funeral when she's probably at a nail spa somewhere, getting kittens or rainbows painted on. No, not rainbows. She would never choose rainbows. Though we aren't speaking, I would never wish for her death. I may want to strangle her with the strap of her Michael Kors purse sometimes, but she's still my mom. Movement inside the office catches my eye, and I peer through the glass door. Her back faces me, but I'm pretty sure it's Mel talking on her cell phone. She has a different hat on today, but the same dark hair juts out from under it at all angles, like it wants to escape. Her free hand gestures wildly, though I can't hear anything through the glass. She paces around the small office, and it soon becomes apparent that whatever they're talking about, it's not going well. I soon feel like a peeping Tom, standing there watching her, so I take a few steps away and force my eyes to focus on the black birds squawking in a nearby tree. Are those ravens or crows? I can never tell the difference. The abrupt click of the door unlocking surprises me, and I turn around in time to see Mel walking away from it, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. I cautiously open the door, not sure if I should say anything. I kind of want to punch whoever she was talking to. "You're early," she says with a sniffle, still facing the desk. "Yeah, the early bird catches the... Well, I don't actually like worms." She chokes out a laugh, and it's a little ridiculous how good I feel for giving that to her. "Everything all right?" I venture to ask, wondering if she'll share or not. I don't see why she would, though, since she doesn't really know me. But who knows? Maybe I'm that charming. She inhales deeply, so it sounds like one long sniffle. "Yeah, all good." Okay, so I'm not that charming. If she wants to pretend like that angry phone call didn't happen, then I'll help, even if it means I can't console her in my loving arms. "So, you ready to tackle that gear basket?" She finally looks at me, a watery but amused smile on her face. "Head gasket." "Right," I say, not surprised I got it wrong. "But if the gear basket needed fixing, I imagine you'd be ready for that too." In truth, a gear basket sounds more like something that might occupy one corner of a hoarder's house than an actual car part, but it earns me a chuckle from Mel, so I consider it a win. After a few more pleasantries, during which Mel reveals nothing, we go about our respective jobs. She plugs her white earbuds into her ears, presses play on her phone, and heads into the garage. I want to know what she listens to. Indie rock? Maybe some punk girl bands? Despite her diminutive size, I could totally picture her holding her own in a mosh pit. The phone on the desk rings, and I glance at it. Receptionist duties were never mentioned as part of my bookkeeping tasks. Am I supposed to answer it? It rings again, and I peer through the doorway to the garage. Mel already has her head buried under the hood of my car. Her hands poke around in the engine while one foot taps to the beat of whatever she's listening to. Bothering her seems like a bad idea, so I pick up the phone. "Hello? Armstrong Auto." I wince at my sputtering. "Yeah, hi. I'm calling again to see if you guys are done with my Jag yet." The man's voice sounds irritated and impatient. "Okay, It's been a week already. Either you guys know how to fix it or not." "I see. Well, I was told this was a top-notch facility, but I'm starting to think I was lied to. You guys don't charge by the hour, do you? Because I am not..." "Excuse me," I'm forced to use my stern bartender voice. "If you'll kindly give me your phone number, I can check on that and give you a status update." "Don't you already have it on file?" Now he sounds annoyed because giving his phone number is such an onerous task. I take a patient breath. Jerks are a dime a dozen. I'm new here. He scoffs, figures. After jotting down his number, I label it with "Asshole Jag Owner." The rest of the morning is spent going through invoices, accounts, and answering more calls. When one lady asks if we can fit in an oil change today, I put her on hold. I don't want Mel to lose business just because I have no idea what her schedule is. I head into the garage. "Hey, Mel?" Her head bobs to her music as she rummages around in a toolbox. I walk over and tap her shoulder. She startles a bit, but luckily doesn't try to stab my neck with a screwdriver. She gazes up at me, her expression open and waiting. I never realized how much of a weak spot I had for hazel eyes. I just want to stare into them all day, counting all the different colors in there. She removes an earbud from one ear, and I take that as my cue to stop staring. I clear my throat. Yeah, there's a lady asking if she can get an oil change today. She nods, stops the music on her player, and follows me back to the office. After confirming an appointment with the lady, she turns back to me. Thanks. I want to dive into those eyes again. What is wrong with me? I'm being such a cliché right now. I blink myself out of my trance and reach for the small pile of notes I've accumulated. Since I've got you here, there were some other calls. She starts flipping through the notes. Little old Centra from Pasadena? She shows me the scrap of paper. Oh, yeah. She reminded me of that oldie. You know it, right? I start humming the Beach Boys song, then realize I sound like a humpback whale and clear my throat. Anyway, sweet woman. Wanted to thank you for the discount you gave her. She said if you hadn't, she'd be stuck within the driving radius of her mobility scooter. She smiles, then grins wider at the next note. Asshole Jag owner? Yeah, real piece of work, that guy. I make a face at the memory. That would be Ishan. He's, well, an entitled schmuck, I supply. She stifles a smile, neither confirming nor denying. He wants to know why his car is taking so long. Mel sighs. Rita's already told him we're waiting for a specialty part. There's nothing I can do till it gets here. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. I take the note from her and scribble a reminder. Part on the way, calm the fuck down. Mel goes back to the notes. Corolla crazy cat guy? I nod as I recollect the call. You only hear about crazy cat ladies, but crazy cat guys exist. Anyway, he wanted to tell you how awesome you were for giving him a ride to the vet before fixing his car. I think the 100 meows I heard in the background were all thank yous as well. She chuckles as she finishes reading the notes. None of these have names. They don't? I thumb through them. You're right. I guess I'm bad with names? I feel a blush creeping up my face, but Mel is quick to say, but you have all the car models written down, so it's all good. I smile with relief. I guess I was kicking ass and not taking names. She laughs, and that feel-good warmth returns to my insides. You're pretty funny. Her eyes sparkle when she says this, and I have to stop myself from assuming she's flirting with me. Of course she's not. She's just being nice. And I'm just imagining things due to my dry spell. I haven't kissed a girl since... I think about the girl I kissed last week. Okay, never mind that. Drunk people getting over their exes don't count. My mom says I'm a smartass, I tell her. She lifts a shoulder. You have to be smart to be a smartass, right? I really, really like this girl. Chapter 4. By my third day in the office, I've determined one alarming thing. The auto shop is barely breaking even. It makes me wonder how many charity cases like me Mel takes on. No, wait, not me. I'm working off my debt. I'm no one's charity case. I've just sealed the envelope for yet another bill payment when the front door opens. A heavy-set man trips through it, nearly taking a potted plant with him. He glares at the entryway like it rose up out of the ground on purpose. When he recovers and sees me, he straightens and pulls his chambray shirt taut over his paunch. The buttons threaten to pop free against the strain. You're the temp, he says. Yup, I reply. The smile he gives me is surprisingly charming, and it's then I finally recognize the man. It's an overweight version of the handsome man in the family photo. I can see Mel's smile on his face, and I can't help smiling back. I'm Big Mike, he says, patting his belly. For obvious reasons. He extends his hand and I pump it in greeting. Luann! Got a good grip there, Luann. Thanks, no one wants to shake hands with a dead fish. He chuckles. My thoughts exactly. Mel around? His eyes roam around the tiny office like she might suddenly crawl out from a file cabinet. Yeah, she's in the garage, probably plugged into her music. Let me go get her for you. I stand, but he stops me with a raised hand. No need to bother her. She's a hard worker. Pride shines in his eyes, which are actually a bit bloodshot and glassy, like he's just gotten off a bender. I'll just get what I came for. He circles around my desk like he owns the place. Note to self, he does own the place. And opens the bottom drawer. As he bends over, I notice his hair is thinning on top, though still dark and wild like his daughter's. When he straightens, he's holding the metal petty cash box. The alarms buzzing in my head are warning me this doesn't seem right. Mr. Armstrong, are you sure that's what you came for? Don't look so worried, Lou. I just need to pick up the replacement exhaust manifold for the Ford Focus we're working on. I haven't seen the man set foot in here on any of the 3 days I've been working, but he sounds like he knows what he's doing, so I ease off on the suspicion. Okay, I reach for the top drawer to get the key for the box. I got it, he says, and retrieves the key himself. He pops open the box like he's done it 1,000,000 times before and gathers all the money inside. When he sets the box down, it's empty except for the small notebook we use as the petty cash ledger. I take the notebook out to record the transaction. How much will you be needing? Annoyance flashes across his face so quickly I almost miss it. He covers it with another charming smile. Rita's taught you well. I'll need all of it. All of it? My voice sounds squeaky because the petty cash is supposed to last us the entire month. It's an expensive part, he insists. Well, okay. I would think he'd have a company credit card or business checks for purchases like this. But what do I know? This isn't my shop. Good girl. Keep my Mel out of trouble, yeah? He pats my head like I'm a beagle and then bustles out the door. I shrug and record the transaction, place the notebook back into the now empty cash box and put it away. Hours later, Mel pokes her head through the doorway. Hey. I give her a brilliant smile. Hey. I guess my smile encourages her because she steps into the office, albeit hesitantly. So, I need a favor. Anything. I mean it too. I'll do anything to put a smile on that adorable face of hers. She gives me a warm smile. Jackpot. Could you run to the auto parts store down the block? I forgot to order more performance oil and I've got a Mini Cooper waiting for it. She shakes her head. Stupid mistake. Sure, no problem. I pop up from my chair, a little too eager to please her. Maybe I am a beagle. Just use the petty cash in the drawer, she advises. The smile falls from my face. Her expression changes. Is something wrong? Well, Mr. Armstrong came in today, and crap, not again. She stomps to the desk, yanks open the drawer, and pulls the box out. She pries at the metal lid with angry fingers, but it doesn't open. Here, I take the key out of the top drawer and hand it to her. When the box is finally open, she stares at the lonesome notebook. Dad, she says with a defeated exhale of breath. She examines the notebook, which is flipped to the current page. Exhaust manifold. Ford Focus? She looks up at me. We're not even working on one of those. I feel like lead has been poured into my stomach. I'm sorry, I didn't know. She touches my arm. It's not your fault. My dad's an amazingly good liar. I guess my bullshit meter was working after all. I feel so bad for her. I'm sorry, I tell her. It's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but what can I do? Send him to Gamblers Anonymous? She sits heavily into a visitor chair. Does that even exist? Actually, yeah, it does, I inform her. Her eyes touch on me before looking away. Rita usually does a great job keeping him away, but I guess she didn't warn you. She was probably hoping to save you the embarrassment. I know I wouldn't want people knowing about my mom. Mel gives me a curious look. I sigh, not sure why I even mentioned her. Since I already shared that little nugget, might as well tell the rest of it. She thinks popping pills is a recreational sport. That sucks. Yep. We sit in silence for a minute, each stewing in our individual woes. The clatter of a fallen wrench from the garage pulls us out of our morose little bubble. Mel stirs first. I'd better go get the oil. Want company? I stand up with her, hoping to spend more time with this enigmatic girl. She shakes her head. We'd have to lock everything up. Just keep an eye on things, okay? Speaking of locking things up, I pause, unsure if I should even suggest it. Shouldn't we put the petty cash box somewhere else? You know, if its current location is a problem? She sighs. You're probably right. I guess I didn't want to admit it was a problem. She finally lifts her eyes to me. You know? Yeah, I nod. I do know. She gives me a small smile, then heads out the door. Chapter 5. The following morning, I arrive at Armstrong Auto, armed with a small box of pastries from my favorite bakery. I was hoping to lift Mel's spirits after yesterday's pseudo-robbery by her own father. Ta-da! I hold the box open for her viewing pleasure. She looks up from the envelope in her hands, and the grin she gives me when she sees what's inside makes it so worth the extra 5 blocks I had to walk. Wow, those look so good! She steps closer to peer at all the goodies. Where are these from? It's my favorite place in the whole world when I need a sugar fix. Ever hear of Serenity Bakery? She shakes her head. Look it up. Everything there is amazing. Some people drown their sorrows in booze. I like to drown them in carbs. I push the box closer to her. Go ahead. I watch her wide hazel eyes roam around the contents of the box. Then she gingerly lifts one of the pastries out with 2 fingers. Good choice, I say as I remove another one from the box. They're actually all good choices since I chose them, but I don't say that aloud. We sit on opposite sides of the desk to enjoy our treats. How long have you been working on cars? I ask. Probably as soon as I was able to lift a spanner. She takes a bite of her pastry and moans. Oh my God, this is so good. I have no idea what a spanner is, but that moan is doing funny things to my insides. I manage to get a grip. I know, right? So, do you own this shop with your dad? She licks the crumbs off her lips. Not really. Dad opened this garage before I was born. I think he plans on leaving it to me when he retires, though. Her expression darkens. At least, that was the idea when I started here. Has he changed his mind? She takes another bite, which I suspect is a ploy to delay her answer. I'm not sure, she finally says. I raise my eyebrows in a silent prompt for more information. She searches my eyes, and I'm not sure what she's looking for. Her gaze drops to her half-eaten pastry, then lifts back up to me. It's so weird. What's weird? I prompt. I can't talk to people. I get all clammy and nervous. But I can talk to you. This sparks a warm glow in my chest, and I have to stop myself from announcing that she's the cutest thing to ever walk on 2 legs. It's because I bring you amazing pastries, I say instead. She grins at me. Yeah, maybe that's it. Her grin fades when she stares back down at her pastry. Hey, Luann? This is only the 2nd time she's ever said my name, and it sounds like she's testing it on her lips. Call me Lou. My friends do. Lou. The smile returns to her face, like she's realized I'm including her in my circle of friends. I'm glad I met you, she adds. The warmth in my chest blooms into something I can only describe as extreme-like. If I wasn't crushing on this girl before, I certainly am now. Chapter 6. So how goes the slave labor? Astrid's usual dry tone greets my ears when I answer my phone later that evening. I stir the pasta sauce on my stove. It's not so much slavery as it is indentured servitude. Soon as I work my week, I'll be done. Although? Spill it, Lou. I stop stirring and sigh, wondering how wise it is to tell my blunt and sometimes lascivious friend that I have the hots for my boss. I kinda like her. Mel the mouse? She barks a laugh, but when I don't say more, her tone softens. Oh, shit, you're serious. There's just something about her. Astrid's dry tone returns. There seems to be a lot of that going around. I roll my eyes. Love is not a disease, Astrid. Whoa, it's a bit soon for love, isn't it? I glare at my phone, then amend. Okay, like is not a disease either. It's only been a few days, though, hasn't it? I taste my sauce and add a pinch of salt. We actually have some stuff in common. And she has these amazing eyes. I close my own eyes to imagine those beautiful green-brown swirls. I can hear the smile in Astrid's voice. Let me guess, they're hazel. So, I can hear the defensive edge in my voice. You're so predictable. I'm not. Her dad is causing trouble at the shop, just like my mom used to cause trouble for me. Astrid's tone grows serious. Shit. Pill popper? Gambler. She hisses a sympathetic sigh. Are there any addictions that don't involve stealing money from your kids? My mom didn't steal from me. No, but she did get prescriptions in your name, or did you already forget that little surprise when you went to the doctor's office? I grit my teeth. No, I didn't forget. I hear Astrid snap her fingers. Sex addiction. I nearly drop my wooden spoon. Excuse me? You can have a sex addiction without stealing, she proclaims proudly. Is there something you want to tell me? She chuckles. I like sex, and that is all I'm admitting to. Anyway, is Mel's shop in trouble, or what? Astrid can deflect so smoothly she should run for senator. I think so, but it's not really her shop, it's her dad. Astrid's grunt sounds like she knows exactly how troublesome the situation is. Then there's not much she can do. Not really, not unless she can fix him. You can't fix an addict, honey. The truth of her words weigh heavily on me. I know this from personal experience. To this day, Mom still won't admit she has a problem. I turn the heat off when the pasta sauce bubbles and stare at the spaghetti sitting in the strainer. I wish there was something I could do. For your mom or for Mel? Your mom's a lost cause, Lou. You know that. She's just going to suck you dry, just like Mel's dad is going to suck her dry. My stomach turns at the thought, and I push the strainer away. Mel is such a good person. She gives crazy cat clients rides to the vet. She doesn't deserve this. Crazy cat clients, huh? Astrid's voice turns thoughtful. Yeah, and discounts to little old ladies when she needs every penny herself. Astrid gives a thoughtful hum. My ears perk. Astrid only says, when the gears in her sharp mind are spinning really fast. What are you thinking? Well, I don't want to promise anything, but I might have an idea. Chapter 7. It's my last day playing receptionist at the auto shop, and I'm digging through various folders, trying to find a direct phone number to reach Big Mike Armstrong. It's got to be around here somewhere. Whatever happened to old-fashioned Rolodexes? I slam a drawer shut with a frustrated growl, and my elbow knocks over a carousel full of business cards. Perfect, I mutter as I pick up the mess. Then I see them. Big Mike's business cards, complete with cell phone printed on the front. I want to kick myself for wasting an entire hour. I pocket one of the cards, then peek through the doorway connecting the garage. It takes me a while, but I finally spot Mel's legs poking out from under a car. One foot taps a rhythm while she works, so I know she's plugged into her music. Just to be safe, I head outside before pulling out the business card and my phone. I stare at them. Am I overstepping? Is this even any of my business? What about Astrid's idea? I look over my shoulder at the shop's dilapidated exterior, at the fading sign, and at the long line of cars waiting to be repaired in the driveway, all of which are the result of not having enough money to hire help. Mel deserves better. Her father needs to know this. I'll try my idea first. I dial the number. After several rings, I get a cautious, "Yeah? Mr. Armstrong?" A pause. "Luann, right?" My eyebrows shoot straight up. "How did you know?" "I remember sexy voices," he drawls. My eyebrows slam back down, and I'm not sure whether to be creeped out or not. "I see." "Easy now, it's a compliment. What can I do you for?" I push back my unease and remind myself why I called. "When was the last time you worked at the shop?" Another pause, longer this time. I don't see how that's any of your business. I ignore his icy tone. It's just, Mel's been working really hard, and I think if you could... Let me stop you right there. Mel's a brilliant mechanic. I taught her everything I know. She can handle it. She's been handling it. Right, but if I didn't think she could handle it, I'd step in. Okay, but there's a lot. His irritation becomes very audible. What part of none of your business don't you understand? This shuts me up, but only for a moment. I grip my phone so hard I probably cracked its case. Mr. Armstrong, my steely voice dares him to interrupt me again. I agree, Mel is brilliant and capable, but I don't see how a business can thrive when its owner not only refuses to help, but steals from it. Silence. The shop is in trouble, Mike. More silence. Did you know that? The shop is in trouble. For a moment, I thought he'd hung up on me, but I can hear his breathing on the other end. Mel is doing the best she can, but don't you think she'd thrive in an environment that allowed her to? Don't you care about that? A few moments tick by. Thank you for your call, Luann. You've given me a lot to think about. I was expecting more pushback, so his response surprises me. Oh, well, you're welcome. The line goes dead and I stare at my phone. That was good, right? If he's thinking about it, then it means there's hope that he might change his ways and help Mel out. Lou saves the day. I like the sound of that. Feeling a bit like a hero, I swagger back to my desk. Chapter 8. Reaching the end of the workday is bittersweet. I'm glad to finally get my car back, but I'll have no reason to see Mel anymore. The thought puts a damper on an otherwise great day. The thunderous sound of the garage doors rolling shut signals that the shop is officially closed for the day. Mel appears in the doorway. She grins when she sees me and puts her earbuds away. My stomach does its usual somersault because her smile lights up the whole room. Hey, she says. Hey, done for the day? Yeah, she fiddles with the clipboard in her hands. Last day, huh? Yeah. My shoulders droop at the reminder and I give her a meaningful look. I'm going to miss this place. She catches my meaning and blushes, looking away. I'm going to miss you too. This admission pleases me to no end, and all I want to do is pull her into a hug and kiss away all her problems. Instead, I decide to ask her to dinner. I was wondering if... Mel's cell phone rings and we both frown at the interruption. She hesitates before pulling it out and glancing at the display. Her lips twist with dismay. I'm sorry. It's my dad. I nod with understanding and she answers the call. I pretend not to listen as I tidy the desk as slowly as possible. I don't want to leave without asking her out first. Plus, I'm so curious what changes her dad is going to make. After the initial pleasantries, her face changes. She did? My stomach flips. Could they be talking about me? Mel turns her back to me and presses the phone closer to her ear. Uh-huh. She hunches a little, and I watch her intently, nervous all of a sudden. I don't bother with the pretense of organizing the desk anymore, and practically hold my breath as I listen to an unenthusiastic string of uh-huhs. What? She turns her head and gives me a look that raises goosebumps on my arms. I wish I could say it's a sultry look, but unfortunately, it's more of an I want to punch your face look. This is not good. She looks away as he continues talking, and I get the feeling that when this is all over, I'm going to be in big trouble. Blotches of color stain her cheeks while her nostrils flare. You can't do this, Dad. We were supposed to... No, but... I know that. She sighs and gazes at the family photo on the wall. It was supposed to be you and me, Dad. You and me. It's our business. You can't just... Her eyes flick over the details of the photograph as she listens. Each word seems to sling an arrow into her heart, because I see tears forming on her lashes. Shit. What the fuck is her dad telling her? I swear, if he twists my words to hurt her, I'm going to rip his balls out through his throat. Her posture shrinks some more. We can make it work, Dad. We just need to... Whatever he says causes Mel to gasp, and she slumps into the nearest chair. Her arms drop to her sides, and her phone slides to the floor with a thunk. "Fuck," she whispers, and covers her face with her hands. I want to run over there and console her, but I have a sneaking suspicion that whatever just happened is my fault. My lungs ache from not breathing, and I force a breath in. She looks up at me with stricken eyes. "Why would you do this to me?" "What? What did he say?" "He wants to sell the garage." Whatever breath I had inhaled whooshes out because it feels like someone just socked me in the gut. "No way!" "He wants to sell because he's tired." She gets up and starts pacing. "Tired? Seriously? I'm the one showing up every day. I'm the one keeping things going." Her arms flail with agitation. "Me! I do everything! All he does is sit on his ass and—" Her lips press together so hard they turn white. She screams and throws her hat across the room, knocking the photo off the wall. It crashes to the floor and its glass shatters. Her heart is breaking, and I can't keep silent any longer. "Mel, we can figure it out. We can—" "There is no we, Luann." I flinch when she doesn't use my nickname, like she's removing herself from my circle of friends. "You took it upon yourself to tell him the shop is in trouble, and now he wants to get rid of it. To get rid of me." Her voice breaks on the last word, and she chokes back a sob. My limbs feel heavy. The enormity of what I've done makes it hard to breathe. "I didn't mean to—" "He can't mean that. He's your dad. He just—" Her tear-filled glare lodges the words in my throat, but the justification continues on in my head. "He just— What? Wants a quick fix? Like that's supposed to make her feel better. I am such a moron." "Mel, I'm so sorry. I fucked up. I was just trying to help." "Please leave," she says quietly. I had no idea he was going to react that way. I thought, "Just get out." She yanks my car keys out of her pocket and raises them over her head, ready to hurl them at my face. I don't try to stop her. I squeeze my eyes shut and brace for the impact. I deserve to be hit in the face for what I did. I hear my keys drop to the floor and open my eyes in time to see her stomping back into the garage. There's nothing more to say. There are no words for how badly I screwed this up. I retrieve my purse, pick up my keys, and take a last look around. "So long, Armstrong Auto. It was nice knowing you." If Rita was here, she'd no doubt kick my ass into next week. I peer longingly through the doorway into the garage, hoping for one last glimpse of my favorite mechanic. She's nowhere to be seen. I pick up the broken frame and stare at the family that was apparently fractured long before I got here. "I'm so sorry," I whisper, pulling the photo out of the frame and setting it carefully on the desk. After dumping the frame and glass shards into the trash, I drag my leaden feet out the front door and out of Mel's life. Chapter 9. "You did what?" "Lou, that was not part of our plan." Astrid's voice is so loud I put her on speakerphone instead and set my phone down. "I know, I just thought—" I sigh at my own stupidity. "I don't know what I thought. I figured he'd be a good dad and man up, you know? Be there for his own daughter. The way yours wasn't." My chest tightens. Astrid is a great friend, but sometimes I just want to wring her neck. Still, for all her bluntness, she's not wrong. "Look," Astrid says when I don't say anything. She eventually has to realize that her dad's a loser. The sooner she learns it, the sooner she can get on with her life. He's just gonna drag her down otherwise. I'm slumped in a chair, the phone sitting on my little dining table. I feel like a homewrecker or something, and I can't stop wondering if Mel would have been better off never meeting me. "Lou, you still there?" "Unfortunately," I moan. Maybe it's a good thing that asshole is selling. Now she has no reason to tie herself to a sinking ship. I guess. My voice is hollow. My soul is hollow. I'm a bad person. Don't beat yourself up over this. It was going to happen sooner or later. You just sped things up a little. "Thanks, Astrid. I only speak the truth." "I know," I reply, weary of the entire situation. Chapter 10. A week has gone by, and Astrid has decreed that I need to, quote, take care of my shit or get the fuck out. Said with love, of course. And she's right. I know she needs me for the new business. I stare at my phone, the dreaded thing that started this whole mess. I need to call Mel and make things right with her. Or maybe call her dad again and tell him what a flaming asshat he is. It doesn't take me long to decide that the latter would be pointless. So, I call her. After 4 rings, it occurs to me that maybe this is another bad idea. Maybe she doesn't even want to talk to me. I tell myself if she doesn't pick up on the next ring, then I won't bother her anymore. "Hi, Lou," says a breathless voice on the other end. Lou. She called me Lou? Hi. My tongue starts gluing itself to the inside of my mouth, and it takes all my effort to pry it loose. How have you been? I wince. What a stupid question. I've been better, she admits. I want to apologize profusely, but I don't know how to do that without sounding like a complete loser. I really want to talk to you, I say instead. Okay, she pauses. We're talking right now. Oh, right. I laugh weakly at myself. I mean, can I see you? I'd really like to see you. This whole thing has just... I exhale, deflating like a balloon until my head touches the dining table. You're all I think about. A long pause. Then, unexpectedly, okay. My voice rises alongside the hope. Yeah? You'll meet with me? Yeah. I fist pump the air twice before giving her the address of my favorite bakery. A neutral place full of delicious smells should help my cause. The next day, I've showered, changed my outfit twice, and checked the clock about 400 times. Nervous doesn't even begin to describe the psychotic butterflies rioting in my stomach. On the way there, I rehearse the different things I want to tell her, to convince her that I actually am on her side. I arrive 10 minutes early with plenty of time to park, but rush to the front door anyway, only to find it locked. What the... I rattle the door like a maniac, like it's going to magically open if I shake it hard enough. No! I wail. This is the right place, right? I back up and confirm the sign does indeed say Serenity Bakery. Pressing my face against the window, I can see the chairs all stacked on their respective tables. Then I finally see the hours of operation. Closed on Mondays. Fuck, fuck, fuck! I bang my forehead against the glass with each word. Will my stupidity never end? That's kind of what I did too. At the sound of Mel's voice, my head whips around so fast I nearly fall over. You... My voice cracks and I clear my throat. You got here early too? She nods and gives me a tentative smile. Didn't want to be late. Could it be she was eager to see me too? My eyes rake over her. It's the first time I've seen her not wearing a baseball cap or greasy coveralls. Her short hair is stylishly tousled, and I want to run my fingers through it. I'm so used to seeing her dressed like a mechanic that it's strange to see her wearing anything else. But the green tank top she wears with the faded black jeans works for her, making her eyes look more green than brown today. You look good, I say, not sure how to start this conversation. Yeah? She self-consciously tucks a lock of hair behind one ear. I nod in confirmation. Yeah. Wanna walk? Okay, sure, she agrees. Maybe this is better. Walking is helping to soothe my nerves, and if I'm not looking at her, I don't have to see the disappointment in her eyes when we finally get around to the incident. It takes me about half a block to muster the courage to start. Geez, how do I start? Have you spoken to your dad again? I have. I steal a glance at her, desperately hoping something good has happened, but her tone says otherwise. And? Now he's in love with the idea of retiring early, she replies. Damn, that asshole. I'm sorry. The words sound so insignificant, like a raindrop in the wind. God, that sounds so lame. But Mel, I really am sorry. I never meant for this to happen. I just thought... My voice warbles and I find myself on the horrifying edge of tears. I stop walking. I wanted to make things better. I know. Mel's soft voice comforts me. Lou. A woman in leggings power walks past us. I don't want to have this conversation on a public sidewalk. I spy a small park nearby, and we head for a bench. We sit, both of us afraid to look at each other. So we gaze out at the tiny grove of newly planted trees. Mel takes a fortifying breath. I know I was angry. It was such a shock, you know? I nod. You had every right to be angry. And on top of that, it felt like you were conspiring with my dad. What? No, I would never. I told him he needed to come back to the garage, to do his... She shushes me with a raised hand. I eventually figured that out. My dad was just looking for an excuse. If it wasn't you, it would have been something else. She hangs her head. He's been unhappy. That doesn't mean he should screw you over. She lifts a shoulder in a what-can-you-do manner. What are you going to do now? I ask. She watches a squirrel scamper from one tree to another. I imagine I could stay on at the garage. Do you want to? She sighs heavily. It wouldn't be the same working for someone else. I liked working with my dad, you know? And then I was looking forward to being my own boss, eventually. Could you buy it from him? Then it would be all yours. A rueful smile crosses her face. I wish, but all I have is a tiny bit of savings and shoddy credit. My indignant hands curl into fists. He should be giving you the garage. Her head tips back, sad eyes on the clouds above. I guess, in an ideal world, yeah. She blinks a few times. But I'm not going to hold it against him. I don't want to be that resentful, spoiled child with everything handed to her, you know? If this garage wasn't meant to be mine, then it wasn't meant to be. I have to be okay with that. She may be shorter than me, but she's a much bigger person than I am. It just reinforces my belief that she deserves better. It's time to put Astrid's idea into action. Come work for us, I blurt. I can't believe Astrid thinks I'm the sweet talker. But I guess between the two of us, I kind of am. Mel parts her lips in confusion when she looks at me. I don't understand. I swallow, trying not to get too excited by the idea. I have a business partner, and we're starting up executive maintenance services. Okay, she says slowly. So far, it's just been odd jobs, but we've been after this whale. I spread my hands apart in the air like I'm measuring a big fish. They have this fleet of cars, right? And if we can get a mechanic on board, we might be able to clinch the deal. Then we get to service everything. Their appliances, air conditioning units, and any kind of construction they need. They own the building, see? So there's no landlord to fix everything. I look out into the distance like I can see the future. If we can land this one, I blow out a low whistle, we will be set. Her gaze follows mine to the horizon, like she can see the same future. When she doesn't answer, I face her. So what do you think? She looks down at her hands, silent. It pains me that she might hate the idea, so I try to sell her on it. We've already got a crew started. Astrid's great at fixing appliances, and she has a friend who does electrical. Then we recently signed on this woman, Sam, who is amazing at construction. So sweet, too. Kind of like you. I blush at this admission and cough. We have this great team assembled, and I think you'd fit in perfectly. She studies my face, maybe wondering if I'm actually serious about this job offer. This was what I was supposed to talk to you about last week, but somehow I got it into my head that if I could just convince your dad about the garage, things could turn around for you. So I thought I'd try that first before presenting you with the weird idea, which I don't think is weird, but maybe you do. I don't know. I just think the rest of my words are muffled by her lips covering mine. Holy shit. Melanie Armstrong is kissing me. She pulls away before my arms have a chance to wrap around her. Her cheeks are pink with the cutest blush. Wow, I say, a bit stupefied. Does that mean yes? She gives me a shy smile. It's the kind of smile that turns my heart into goo, and as if that wasn't enough, those hazel eyes are looking so deep into mine that it leaves me breathless. I'm so anxious to hear her answer, I'm about ready to vibrate out of my seat. I think I know what it is, but why doesn't she... Yes, she says, her gaze unwavering. The answer is yes. Thank you for listening to Car Trouble by Zoe Blessing. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe so you can discover more.